Hey, what's up, y'all? So I'm going to entitle this segment, Work, 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 Work. Come on now, y'all church people. Don't act like you don't know what that is, because you know what it is. You know that song. And I'm going to talk about work when it comes to marriage. So I had a single person or an unmarried person ask me, they said, why is it that whenever single people, unmarried people ask questions about marriage, the married people always want to say it's a lot of work, 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 work? Well, because it is. It's a lot of work in order to build the marriage that you want. What I find a lot of times is that we want to get married, we want to have the kids, the perfect house, the white picket fence, the perfect husband or the perfect wife, but we don't really consider the amount of work that it takes to build the marriage that you want. This is not something that you can just do and then you wake up the next morning and then after your honeymoon is over, boom, you got the marriage that you want. No, it requires work and effort on your part. You can't just assume that because this person has some of the attributes that you want or they treat you the way that you want, that this is all that encompasses marriage. Marriage encompasses a whole ordeal. I mean, it's a lot of things and a lot of moving pieces that goes into making a marriage work. When I think about building a marriage, I think about baking a cake and the amount of work that it takes to create the cake that you want. There's flour, there's sugar, there's salt, baking soda, baking powder, butter, milk. There are all types of ingredients that go into baking a cake. Now, if I were to eat a tablespoonful of baking powder by itself, that's not going to taste good. It's not that's something that I don't want to do. Or if I eat eat 5 cups of flour, that's not something that's going to be appealing or tasty to me. But once I get those things and I mix them up together and they start working together, that's going to create the cake that I want. It's the same way that it is in marriage. You take a whole lot of moving pieces, different personalities, different upbringings. You bring all of those things together to build the marriage that you want. Don't try to take the lazy way out and think that as long as I pay the bills, the marriage is good. As long as I'm giving him sex 4 or 5 times a week, the marriage is good. No, it's going to require more than that. It's going to require work. If you want a good marriage, you got to be a good worker. If you want a lazy, broke down marriage, then continue to be lazy and broke down when it comes to doing things that you need to do in order to build and work your marriage. You've got to make sure that you and your spouse have open lines of communication, because what I find is that as the years go on and as your marriage begins to mature, the things that you want and desire are going to change. And if you don't change with those things, you're going to have a lot of issues when it comes down to your marriage. So make sure that the lines of communication remain open. Make sure that the lines of intimacy remain open. Once you start seeing different lines starting to get clogged up where I'm not communicating or communication is starting to break down or intimacy is starting to break down or we're just not gelling anymore, things are not clicking, that's an indication that you need to sit down, settle down, and get to work. It doesn't mean let me go file papers and get rid of you and find me somebody else. No, it means settle down and get to work. Take an inventory of what's happening, of what's going on around you. Take enough interest in your spouse to say, honey, what's going on here? What do we need to do to fix this? Because you didn't get married just to get divorced. You got married so that you can make this thing work. All right? So I want y'all to work, 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 because I believe in your marriage, but I need you to believe in it too. God bless.